you can and you're running with kings. But how far could you go if you run with the wind? And the chances you take are what give you wings, and you can fly.
So today we're fortunate to have Kent Roberts with us, and based on his many years as a civility in the community expert, he is going to share some insight with us. My question today, Kent, is it used to be that we taught civics and citizenship in schools, that there was requirements for community service in almost every school and community around the globe, and that has shifted away, dissipated sadly in many communities and schools. What's your view on citizenship? Is the concept still valid as we move, 21st century here, or is it something that is kind of a thing of the past? What's your view on citizenship?
Well, as an old civics teacher, so you're talking to somebody who spent the time in the classroom teaching civics. I still believe in obviously the importance of citizenship and civics, but also obviously civility. But one of the things that as we talk about citizenship, is we need to talk about being a citizen in a free society or a citizen in a much more closed society. And I think that what we've lost track of is that it is a lot more difficult to be a citizen of the free world. And that may seem, wait a minute, we've got our freedom. But with that freedom comes a lot of responsibility. And with that freedom, if our citizens do not become educated or have skills and be able to add value to society, then of course we fail. And I don't think that we understand the true how hard it is to be a citizen. We just take it for granted and we float along, and we don't always learn or listen. I don't want to know that, or I don't think that's important. But if we don't understand the importance of being a good citizen, we may fall for anything on social media. We may fall for anything in which somebody in authority may tell us. And all of this leads to less freedom. All of this leads to a society that isn't open and free, and the innovation fails, and it is not a very good long-term business model. And I hate to speak in terms of business, but if we want to speak in terms of business, or we want to speak in terms of just society in general, we must, it's a give and take. There's responsibilities that come with citizenship. If you live in a totalitarian society where people are going to tell you what to do, it's less important because you've got people making those decisions for you. So if we're going to have individual responsibility, then we need to have the commitment and the intentional value of how we treat each other, how to learn, and become a learning citizen in today's world. And so it's so easy today that it becomes a point where we're a blaming culture, or it's somebody else's fault, or we're a victim in today's society. If you're a good citizen, you're not a victim. You learn how to be active. It's an active role in which we all play. And if we are getting the short end of the stick, we have ways in which we should be able to counter that. And so it boils down to being simple disciplines in life, being responsible, taking care, paying our bills, or whatever the case may be. But all these things are important. And so it's not easy living in a free society and building the types of relationships with other citizens so we can function. And part of being a good citizen in a free society is understanding that the level of the playing field isn't always equal. And there are some people who are really struggling. And we may like to think in grandiose ways that we have, if we have succeeded or we are successful, that it was us. But we have all built ourselves on the back of other citizens. We've all, worked together over the years to build a society, and it takes all kinds. We cannot live in a society where many people have absolutely nothing and other people have great wealth. So as it's a responsibility that we need to take seriously, and it's something that it's more important today than ever because we don't have the filters that we used to have to protect us. We have so much information coming at us that is misinformation. And in fact, I would probably say on a daily basis, we might see more misinformation than we see actual information if we're out on social media or in other some of the other venues that some of us visit. So it's really important not to be taken advantage of that way, and it is just a moral imperative to be a good citizen of your
Excellent.
community, of your country, to be a citizen of your family. Um, like I said, I believe it's an imperative.
I agree, and I think that's a really good kind of way to capture the overall value of it. Citizenship is a moral imperative. Just one question. I'm hoping you can explain a little bit and elaborate for our audience. You referenced it a couple of times in our conversation so far, but this idea that in a free society things are not always equal or equitable, I find in my discussions people frequently use the two terms interchangeably. And as a civics teacher, do you mind helping people understand generally the difference between equity and equality?
Well, I'm not sure I can do that, but I will give it my I think that's uh, that's a really important question. And I really think that people, it'd be interesting in a safe place to have that discussion and have people try to define that. I think that that's how you really build up the understanding of those two terms. And, we'll say that we live in a free society where we're all equal. But I think that we all know, I can't always, I certainly am not would not try to speak for the people of Canada, but, I have worked in rural America, I've worked in urban America, and I've worked in the suburbs. And it's apples and oranges. Yes, it's not the same. And some people, let me use it this way. Let's just say that we're all born and we all have a toolkit. And when we go to use our toolkit as we go through life, we open up our toolkit, and some people, it is just chock full of all kinds of tools. You're coming from a long lineage of legacy of family that was passed down from one generation to another generation, principles that are tried and true, things that are of great value, of faith, and sometimes fiscal tools that will help you survive and do very well. And it gives you a chance that anytime you're in trouble, you can go to your toolkit and try to pull out a tool that'll help you as you grow and as you go through life. But I'm telling you that there are people who go to their toolkit, and when they open it, there isn't a tool in the box. There's nothing there. There's nothing but maybe some family love, But at the same time, the tools are not there. They're not the same tools as somebody 10 miles away may have. So even though that we are equal, the equity of our toolkits are very different.
All right. Well, thank you. That's pretty helpful for me. I know that it's true. It's an ongoing debate, but I agree with you that defining the terms and giving people an opportunity in their context and using their frame of reference to share perspective and at least start the conversation is really an important piece of initiating civility in any context, right? So thank you
That's
so much.
correct.
This is Lou Bayer, and I'm with Kent Roberts, and we hope you'll join us next time as we continue our conversations in civility.
Reason why each of us comes to this earth, and your actions will always speak louder than words, and you'll never know what you're capable of until you try.